we're like, this is
we
still
don't,
fresh.
we don't judge it because judgment is not love. That's not love.
Absolutely.
But understanding it, like, man, I understood where they were. I understood how hard it was. I understood being in survival, being a single mom, raising kids, you know, trying to keep food on. My mom was there. She made $9,000 with 4 kids a year.
Wow.
Okay, trust me. So, and my soul chose to incarnate in that family. Okay, so everything I learned was to bring me to this moment right now, to raise the bar for women.
My mom had an 8th grade education, and when I worked my summer jobs, my check was just as big as her.
And when we look at our stories and we accept our stories and we love our stories, we use that as motivation. We don't look at our stories and be like, man, I came from a poor family. I'm this, I'm that. I never. No, we don't play the victim. We say, man, thank you. Thank you, Most High God, for preparing me for what I'm doing right now. And all people don't look at it, but once you come into that divine love, you understand everything you do is preparing you for the next, everything. So once we embrace our stories, we embrace who we were, we embrace that, you know, that survival mode and the families we grew up on, food stamps, you know, bologna sandwiches, government cheese.
All of that.
And we use that and we say, man, the Most High was preparing us this whole time.
We can survive through anything.
We're warriors. We're warriors, exactly.
And we say we Green Berets in love because, you know, we've been married. We didn't see the good, bad, and ugly of marriage. So it's like, who best would be able to be in a marriage?
If you don't step up to the bat, you gotta step up to the bat. You may not win, but once you keep stepping up, you gonna make a home run sooner or later.
So you can never close your heart. What a lot of people do is close their heart, and they become cold, bitter, and think they're gonna attract the love of their life. You can't do that. You got to still have your heart chakra open because we're here to love. That's what the whole mission of this.
And remember, that's the key to divine love, is the heart. So if you close down because of everything you've been through, the hurt and the pain, you're trapped in suffering, not in abundance.
Yeah. And in the meantime, love a plant, love whatever. Like the most attractive thing to anybody, like for example, as a man, I seen a woman that like she had a garden and she growing all these beautiful flowers and all, like she's using her time wisely to do something creative and productive. Like this woman here is over in the middle of Africa, out in the sticks. Like they flew into Nigeria, drove hours out into the woods to provide medical services to families who didn't have it.
Oh,
like
wow.
2 years in a row on her own dime, going off grid where the cell phone didn't work and everything else. It's like, to me, that is so attractive, other than somebody online talking about WAP and shaking their damn ass.
And that
like,
was,
what can you do for me?
And that was my process of awakening to unconditional love, because you are loving people and giving something to people that cannot and do not have it to give back to you. So when we love unconditionally, when we love people that can't love us back, you open up. You open up fully. And that's the love God has for us.
And that's the energy that people feel. You could walk into a room and light a room up with your energy.
And that's the true awakening.
You know what I'm saying? And we so busy worried about if I got the right bag, the right pair of shoes. No, do you have the right energy?
Yeah. And so what you guys just showed me is forgiveness. Everything that you guys, no, seriously, you guys just hurt my, listen, I asked the universe today, I said, hey, I want to really get into my teachings again, but I need to learn first from others. You guys, Darius sent me this link, and you guys just gave me the confirmation, because this morning I talked to some lady. She's about 50 something. She looks like she's 30, melanated. And she told me about forgiveness again. And I'm like, dude, I just cut off I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I cut off my mom this year because I'm so angry with life. I was so angry with her. And I was like, she brings too much pain to me. And I'm like, I'm just gonna take a break from you. But but I'm learning that the only way I can actually teach her is by loving her. Because that's what I was searching for, by the way, is love for my family. But they all kicked me out. They all treated me horribly. I'm the middle child. So, but it makes sense now. I'm the black sheep because I still love them so much that I can truly come back and still forgive and show them, hey, forgive your family too. Because I just learned my mom actually is having her own family problems. but she's just been holding it in her own self with regret. And she put that regret on me. And that's why I'm so angry with other people in life.
You gotta let that go.
And what you're saying, what you're doing right now is healing. And forgiveness is love. Forgiveness is unconditional love. You have to, forgiveness is always for you. It's never for the other person. And we talk about this, we call them the shifters in the family. The shifters are the person that incarnates in that family, that's of higher consciousness,
you're the Jesus
that comes and shift everything. You heal the generational curses, you shift everything. And I'm gonna tell you, you don't even have to really speak verbally to your mom to send her love. I do it with so many people every day in my meditation. I envision them. I envision their face and I send them love. And you could do that. You could envision her face in your meditation and you could send her forgiveness. And you could send her love and healing, because it's true. Somebody can't give you what they don't have for themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. So if she didn't have love for herself, she didn't know how to properly love you. So in our stories, we can't hold the people who brought us into this world accountable, because it's true. She held that all in, thinking she was protecting you from her emotions. In essence, you were feeling all of her energy and her lack of love. So you have to forgive that. And you have to be like, I understand. Because empathy is putting yourself in that person's shoes and understanding it from their point of view. That's empathy. Compassion is, I understand it from their from their shoes, and I want to relieve their suffering. I want to do something.
It's just so hard because, I mean, Darius knows, if you see my Instagram I think it was about 2 years ago now, my family, when I say I was searching for love, I was searching for it from them so much that it came to a point I got kicked out of my own. I'm the good kid. I'm the one who didn't smoke until I finally smoked when I was like 22. I finally drank when I was 21. I was that yes kid. So it just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Listen. Wow. If they can't give something that they don't have, give them love so that they can give it. So it's a reciprocal thing, right? Love is like money that you could deposit into a bank. You know what I'm saying? If you could show them, you could love them from a distance too. It ain't like you gotta like give them access and all that.
They don't.
You deal with them on your terms, but show love and be loved. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like the best way to diffuse, say, a bully or somebody being evil, if you're constantly saying kind, loving words and they're being evil or whatever, after a while, they just have to give up. You see what I'm saying? Because they can't break you. But if they see that they can get under your skin and hurt you and break you, because they're hurting, they want to give you some of the pain that they're feeling.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can't open yourself up to that because it perpetuates it. And now it's like it's going in a circle.
And in essence, and again, how old are you?
I'm 25 right now.
Okay. So at 25 right now is when you can no longer blame your family for where you are spiritually. So at 25, you have to do the work internally to heal those root wounds, because that's a root wound. And the root chakra is all about your attachment to family and to your tribe. And safety and security. So at a young age, we have our babies, our young kids, we provide safety and security. If a child never felt that, that root chakra never properly get the energy that it needs. So you have validation. Yeah. So what happened is you're looking for love outside of you. Like, mom, love me, dad, love me, sister, love me. Like, y'all, why y'all not loving me? I'm the good kid. I don't smoke, I don't do all that. But where your true love is going to come, once you forgive and let all of that go, it's going to be divine. And that love is infinite, over and over and over, and it replenishes you over and over. And that well never runs dry, never runs dry.
How does he begin to forgive, though? How does he do that?
I was just going to ask you, because the only problem with me is, and I'm usually good at these things, I usually give people advice, but the problem is, they hurt me so bad that it's to a point, listen, like I said, you guys, I'm a mother's boy. There ain't no way that I just when I say I cut my mother off, she has no way of contacting me. She could think that a lot of people actually thought that I was dead at one point because I got kicked. This was 2 years ago. I got kicked out of my house. My mom chose my stepdad over me. And it wasn't even me wanting to go there. They asked me to come to them. I was just getting my life together somewhere else and about to get my own crib, everything. And then when I came back there, 6 months, he fought me after the end of 6 months. And thank goodness I had a recording of me, like I was recording it while it was happening. He was fighting me, but he lied to the cops. So the cops said, that's not what the video shows. And that's the only reason he went to jail rather than me. It's like, thank goodness I'm so aligned that it happened like that. But I don't know what to do because I think it made me become homeless. This is my first time having my house to myself. I have a crib, life finally, like it's like the most high, the universe, thank you for what they did for me. But I've been through hell for this past 2 years, thinking that I'm alone. Well, I still feel like I'm alone, even though I know that we have each other. But it so hurts me.
So sometimes you are put into a situation to have to go through things so that you can be the messenger for that message. So you need to turn your lemon into a lemonade, your mess into a message, and your test into a testimony. How else can somebody else get through this? You know, there are other people who have gone through this same thing that you've gone through.
And you're going to testify.
Yeah, and you sound like you're a very people-oriented type person and you're into helping uplift other people. That's why you probably went through what you went through so you can get through it to tell the story. A lot of people give up, they commit suicide, they do all these other things. They can't tell the story. You can tell the story. So what you have to do is first forgive yourself, forgive them, and then you move on and you continue to build, you know. But what you can't do is have animosity. You know, it's like trying to drink poison and hope that they get sick and die.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the pain, right? Because you have to feel that. You can't suppress that. Like you said, I feel so hurt. It was just so painful. Feel that. Feel what that feels like. Allow that, because anything that comes up, it comes up to be healed. That's why I did 7 steps to mastering emotions. So feel the hurt, you know, like you said, I feel pain, I hurt. If you don't know what you're feeling, just write it, put it in a journal. I gave my son a journal at a young age so that if you can't talk to me, write it in a journal so you can constantly know what you're feeling and starting to get those emotions out. Okay.
So I want to tell you how I forgave my dad. So my dad has never really been in my life ever, truly. Like, he's been in and out of my life all my life. He wasn't there when I was born. He wasn't there. I just reconnected with my dad after. I haven't seen my dad probably in like probably about 9 years. 9 years. I haven't seen my dad. No contact, nothing. After my grandmother died on his side, there was no contact. I did not know that my grandmother was really the person that was really connecting me and my dad together most of the time whenever we would see each other. I've been lied to from my dad. I don't even know my dad's favorite color, to be honest with you. I don't even know his middle name. I just know it's Dexter Smith. All right. So the way I forgave my dad was I had to accept everything that has happened. Everything that he's done, everything. I had to understand that he did not. Me being a human being, I do understand this concept right here. I felt love before, and I know that he knows how to give love, because you may not have been given love from your parents, but someone in your life, if you've lived enough years, you felt love from somewhere, so you know how to replicate that to someone else. But I had to
possibly.
Well,
that's
I
his
know,
stuff, though.
but I had to accept the fact that maybe he just didn't know how. Maybe he just didn't know how to love. Maybe he just didn't know how to be a father. So after I accepted that, I was able to forgive him and move on and try to establish some type of relationship, because at the end of the day, I do only have one mom and one dad. They are the people that brought me into here. So I said to myself, if this if this doesn't work with me trying to work out with my dad, then I've done my part. Just like how you said with spreading the word, with trying to help people get woke, you've done your part to, like, you know, you told them what it was. You've tried your best to get them to open their eyes. And if they don't, that's on them at that point. But at least I'm at peace with me knowing me at this age that I've tried to reach out to my dad. And if I'm unsuccessful with that, I know that I've done my part as a son, at least, to try to reestablish a connection or create a new connection. Now,
and accepting, because you can't heal nothing that you can't accept. You have to accept everything that's happening to you, and you also can't identify with that story. You get what I'm saying? Like you are love at the core of who you are. So you, at some point, you have to say, she just didn't have it. They didn't have it to give to me, and I have to accept that. But I know who I am, and I can move forward. And I've done my part, like he said, in the forgiveness. But forgiveness is definitely for you. It is never for them.
So I'm gonna share my story. I'm gonna just tell this real quick. So my story is very similar, right? So I'm Russell Bruce Jr. I'm named after my daddy, looked like him, everything, right? My mom and dad was in love. You know, he even adopted my older brother and sister. They carry his last name, everything. They fell out. He was a steel worker up in Pennsylvania. Steel mills shut down. They shipped it abroad. Most of the men lost their jobs, busted up families. He and my mom split up. I was probably 1 or 2, so I don't even remember one day he lived in the house, right? So I went years without seeing him. You know, he finally got a job. He learned how to do electrical work. He became an electrician. So he would pay child support, but as a kid, you don't see no child support check. All you know, your daddy ain't there. So I would go to school and dream of the day he would pull up at the end of the corner and, you know, and say, hey, Russ, I'm gonna give you a ride home, you know, like what you've been doing, whatever. You know, I fantasized with that as a kid, right? I remember I was in grade school. My mom brought me downstairs one day because I had seen pictures of him. And there was a guy down there with a beard, and she go, you know who that is? And I go, nope. That was my dad, right? But I didn't know him, right? Then by the time I got into high school, I used to go across town to hoop. I would walk by where he was at the gas station. I walked by him, everything else without even speaking. He didn't even recognize me being there. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't have that kind of relationship. So took my team. We went to the state championship. We all on TV. I went to local college there, played basketball, everything. And we'd hear these stories. People go, you know that Russell Bruce to play? Because they seen the name, right? And he'd be like, all he could do is shake his head. Yeah, because he wasn't in my life, right? He never showed up at one game, never came to my graduation, high school, college, none of that. But I forged a relationship with him when I was in my 30s. You know what I'm saying? And when I would go home or whatever, you know, he would pick me up from the airport or whatever. And we forged more of a friendship more than a father-son thing. But I realized I had a lot of his ways, everything. But it was a situation where his mom and dad had a strange relationship, and, you know, it kind of affected who he was as a person. You know what I mean? And so sometimes we can't fault them because they don't know how to love. They don't know how to do a lot of these things. Like those people growing up during that era,
it was survival.
It was more of a survival thing than anything. And, you know, it's like he ended up coming down with cancer, and I flew home to be with him, you know, on his deathbed. Like when he was about to leave the hospital and go to hospice the next day, I spent a couple of days at his bedside, how much I loved him and all the other stuff, you know what I'm saying? And let it go. Because if he would have died without me saying that, and, you know, I never faulted him for anything. Because if he would have lived with me, you know, hell, he went on to be an electrician working on cars. I might have been doing that. You know, that ain't what I wanted for my life. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise.
Sometimes it's a blessing
when people exit your life, because you don't know what you would have been exposed to. I say that all the time.
No.
And on a spiritual level, guys, right now, you probably feel this with some of your friends that you've been friends with a long time. We are in a great divide. All right. There's people that you've been close to for a while. You just feel like you don't have nothing in common with them anymore. They're starting to show who they really are. And that's because we come on this earth through family, but they're not our tribe. They're not our spiritual family. They're not our cosmic family. We are now connecting with our tribe. We're connecting with our spiritual family. And a lot of times the people that we grew up with, that's why we're so weird in the family. We're the weird one because we just came into that family as a portal, but everything in that family was to get you to this moment right now.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
So know that everything you're going through is to prepare you for what you have coming.
Hey, listen, you might have came out the womb looking like your relatives, but by the time y'all get in y'all mid-20s, you look like your choices.
Yeah. And I'm telling you can't get into that divine love without healing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and it's called Dark Night of the Soul. You can look it up, or Ego Death. And it is like, whew, it's a time where it's so many things that come up to be released, but it's a part of the process. Because when we came here, we all this stuff was put on us, programming, and you got to get back to love.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so people might have said you're unworthy, you're not going to amount to anything, you're this or that. That's all programming, and you got to let all that stuff fall off.
Yeah, it's all about love. And at the end of the day, when you transition, all those people ain't gone before the great I am.
You are. You came in here by yourself, and you're gonna
judge
leave.
yourself. You're gonna do all that. And do you want to go on the other side and feel the pain that you lash back at other people, or do you want to feel the love that you tried to spew out to them? You want to feel the love that you've given to everybody. In ancient Egypt, they called it Ma'at. Like when you go before Osiris, you want your heart to be on the balance scales and be lighter than a feather. You don't want it heavy with burden and discord and all that other stuff. You want it to be full of love, because at the end of the day, all we could put in our proverbial packages, our backpack, when we go on the other side, is love and memories. So create as much love and memories.
It's about heart posture right now. And that's what the fourth density is. And just every day, just try to make, am I making this decision out of love or fear? Every day. Yeah,
guys, we're going to have to run. You know, we got
I was just going to say, can I end it real quickly? Yeah, I was just about to say, can I end it real quickly? Since you guys said that, I do want to show you guys my love. From the darkness to the light, I found my purpose in life. So just by your name, I can